Welcome back, everybody. This is Brother Mutant here. Today we are we are adding to our list of feats that we want to talk about. So one of the feats that I wanted to do was going to be a Inquisitor build. Let's see if I can do that quickly for you folks. The reason for this one, the first video we've already posted, timestamps are coming for those that are asking for it. I'll do the same with these ones as well, but I want to get them done first. The feats that we're covering today are going to be Teamwork Feats. Those ones are actually a little weirder. So let's actually show you an easy way to do these as far as finding them. Instead of being a fighter or a wizard or anything like that, if you went straight Inquisitor, so this guy right here, Inquisitors get Teamwork Feats for free. As such, the list will be all-inclusive. I just need to get to level 3 Inquisitor, which will be easy enough to do, and your character will be awesome. So let's actually do that. Doesn't matter what domain we pick. It doesn't matter what spells we pick. We don't care about that stuff right now. We just want to keep making an Inquisitor. Oops. I said we didn't quit it. Do it. Do it now. Do the things. All the things. Let's see. Again, I don't want to pick Teamwork Feats. We're going to steer away from that right now. Just grab something like Arcane Strike. Sure, fine. I'm getting the spell. Could care less which one. Yay. Next Inquisitor level, we can finally unlock it. Don't need wisdom per se, but I'm just going to do it just because that's the kind of way I roll. Alright, so here are your Teamwork Feats. Notice I'm using a mod. That mod is giving me access to all of them, whether I've met the requirement or not. This will allow me to show you all of them. For example, Outflank. I do not have a BAB of 4 right now, but it'll let me pick it. That's cheating. Don't do this. I'm just showing it to you so that I can literally show you all of them all at once. So again, if there is a prerequisite, I will talk about it. First, before we talk about these, let's talk about the importance of these and how Teamwork Feats work. Teamwork Feats are feats that you typically, not always, you and at least one of your teammates have the same feat. If you do, and you're side by side or close proximity even to each other, you both benefit from it. That's how Teamwork Feats work. So again, lots of investment. You have to make sure that that teammate is near you to get the bonus, and that they will too. But having said that, the bonuses can be quite powerful, which is why Teamwork Feats are awesome and reasonably rare. Having said that, there are exceptions to every rule in this game. This is an example of the exception to the rule. See this here where it says solo tactics? This is something that Inquisitors get. I don't know about every Inquisitor, but most of the ones that I've made have this feat or ability given to them. It allows them to use their Teamwork Feats that you see down here that they're going to get for free just for leveling up. They have no choice but to pick them down here. All it does is they get the bonus so long as they're next to an ally. The ally, for all intents and purposes, is considered to have the feat for the purpose of giving you, the Inquisitor, the bonus, not the ally. Be real clear on this. This gives it to them so they meet the requirements of they have it, you get the buff. They don't get the buff unless they actually have the feat. There is another exception to this rule. Besides the Inquisitor having solo tactics, fighters, for example, can pick up something called fighter tactics. It's the same exact principle, where literally the fighter picks fighter tactics. From that point on, any Teamwork Feats that they have picked or will pick in the future, they get to use them much like solo tactics. Again, an ally has to be close. The ally is temporarily granted the the feat, so you get the bonus. They do not. So if you want to have a baller team, obviously Inquisitors are awesome, or fighters, or probably even Rangers get access to this as well. So there's a lot of different guys that can get solo tactics. Moreover, there is a specific type of Inquisitor called a Sacred Huntsman. The Sacred Huntsman not only gets solo tactics and Teamwork Feats, they have an animal companion, and they actually gift their animal companion all Teamwork Feats. So again, if you were side by side with your animal companion, every buff that I'm about to show you, Mr. Pet's gonna get as well, which is pretty fucking cool. We've done that again in a build. Feel free to watch that content. But the point's still the same. This is where people get this doesn't work. It's wrong. It's broken. Bug report. No. You're mistaken. More likely than not, these ones work as intended. You're just not setting it up correctly. That's why I'm here to explain to you what you can expect and how to make it work. Now, having said all those caveats, let's talk about what ones we have. I'll tell you what I like and don't like, and I'll tell you about ones that I would probably suggest you grab on at least 2 to 3 teammates. Why 3? You only need to have one ally that has the feat, unless again you have the solo tactics or the fighter tactics. Again, that just means one of your teammates are awesome, the fighter or the inquisitor. That's not as cool as having 2 or more people have it. You can see the appeal there. But why do I suggest 3? Let's say it's you, the main character, and 2 other teammates, frontliners, ones that are going to benefit from things like back-to-back where you get extra armor. It's a cool one. It's a one that I routinely like to pick. Now, why do I recommend 2 other people besides your main character have it? Remember, you have a party of 6 people. While all 6 could have multiple ones of these teamwork feats, and the whole party would benefit as a result of being near other people on that same party, you will swap out teammates. You will not routinely take the same 6 people every time. And if the front line is the ones that's getting things like back-to-back, armor bonuses, what if you swap out that one other teammate of yours that had the feat that you needed to match yours, because you're not an inquisitor, you don't have solo tactics, or you're not a fighter, you don't have fighter tactics. Now we have a problem. You have feats that you have picked, whether free down here or ones up here, that are now useless because you don't have a teammate close by that has a matching set of teamwork feats. You understand the problem? So again, if you have it and 2 other teammates have it, you can kind of swap them around. Both of them can come, one of them can come, and not really feel hampered by that. Okay? So be real clear on this. You're going to have to keep a piece of paper or have a really smart brain to keep this all in your head to know who has what, who's benefiting by being next to who, unless, of course, things like solo tactics or fighter tactics are employed. On that, solo tactics is awesome. Fighter tactics is awesome. There's plenty in here that will benefit a fighter and an inquisitor, and certainly anyone that's a caster. On that, remember your main character, no matter what you pick, you're going to pick a mythic path in this game. You will have spells. Whether you're good at casting them is inconsequential to this argument, but you will have spells. I would assume you would use them. So anything that would benefit a spellcaster, which I'll draw your attention to, would technically benefit your main character. Be real clear here. There's a lot here to unpack, and there's no reason to grab every last one of these bastards. There's like 10 plus of these things. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of these things, and the Inquisitor gets 6 for free if they go Purist, or at least all the way up to level 18. Feel free to do so. Feel free to grab other ones up here. And you may say, well, that's kind of wasteful. Again, while they're next to an ally, they get these buffs. There's a lot of good shit in here. I would still steer you away from a few, so I would say the 6 are probably good enough. I could definitely find the 6 in here that make me happy, and throw away 5 or 6 of these things anyway. So again, you will get everything you need if you want an Inquisitor build, down here, and don't need to fluff it up here. Having said that, a lot of people, and this goes towards feat usage, and this is what these videos are about, picking the proper feats for your team, for your characters, for whoever. A lot of people, not complain, but criticize my picking a human every time I make a main character, or any character, when I make a mercenary, and I try to showcase what this character can do, what this build can do. I routinely pick a human. There's exceptions to the rule. When someone asks for an Oriad, or hey, could you make that for an elf? I will do so, as much as I can. But the problem is usually I appreciate the extra feat that you get at level 1, and the extra skills that you get at every level for being human. That's not to say there's not another race or 2 out there that do that, but humans are the only race that get 2 feats right off the bat. Doesn't matter if I'm a fighter, a wizard, or whatever. You guarantee you have 2 feats up here at level 1 for being a human, which is powerful. Let me explain why I say that. Let's say I'm making a generic caster, a wizard, a sorcerer, someone that's going to be a blaster caster that stands back and just shoots shit at a distance, whether we're talking fireball, lightning bolt spells, druid spells with lightning clouds and all that shit, or maybe I'm going to be a ray caster build. What might I need to feel like that character is battle ready at level 1, 2, or 3? Well, if I have 2 feats to pick from as a human, an example of 2 really good feats to be a distance attacker is point blank shot and precise shot. And guess what? You can actually pick those in level 1. Both of them if you're a human. And you may say, well, do you really need both? You have to have one to get the other. Exceptions to the rule apply, but by and large, you need point blank shot first. That's a nice bonus to your swing and a bonus to your damage for ranged attacks, whether we're talking bow or javelin, raise spells, that's all baked in there. As long as within that point blank shot range, you get that bonus. Bonus to the swing, bonus to the damage. But why precise shot? Well, I will routinely shoot into combat. Remember, my job as a wizard, again, that's my analogy here, at distance is to blast something as far away from me as possible so where I'm safe, but still helping my team. I can't hurt the team, they don't let you do that with like raise spells in this game. I mean, you could specifically target a teammate, don't do so. What I'm saying is the way they make it where you're being careful, like you're not going to blast my teammate who's also grappling with this other prick that I'm trying to shoot, is they impose a -4 penalty to shooting into melee combat. Now, having said that, I can take that -4 penalty away with a feat called Precise Shot. Now you can see why I want both of those feats at level 1. It's not necessary. You don't even need it on a high attack build like a fighter, blood rager, anyone else that was going to do ranged attacks. Doesn't necessarily need both point blank shot or precise shot, or both of them for that matter. But I like knowing that it's there. I like having my build be good within the first 5 levels. That doesn't mean I don't have builds that extend all the way up to like level 9 or even up to 15, where like every step of the way is an arduous task to like get to the next feat, because that one's going to make me even better, and then the next feat, which will make me even more better. And you get the idea. But again, if I can get it within the first 5 levels, I feel like everything else then can just be whatever the hell it wants. There's stuff to make my character me, you know what I mean? So the feats that you wouldn't necessarily take, the stuff that I will steer you away from in the next video or two, because there's ones that are they're just not good, let's just say it. But again, thematically, I like to play characters that are subpar. Hence the reason I play Inquisitors and Magi and other characters that are not full casters. Let's give you another example. So we're giving you an example of a ranged attacker. And again, that's not to say the best bowman ever, because I haven't given you rapid shot, I haven't given you many shot, I haven't given you deadly aim. And again, you see, we're already starting to turn into 2 feats, turn into 3, turn into 4 or 5. But again, for a solid anybody character, I can be a decent bowman, ranged attacker, crossbowman, however you want to work it. If I were to play a strength-based melee character, fighter, barbarian, bard even, quite frankly, there's nothing wrong with that. And again, if I was human, 2 feats that I would probably want right off the bat. One would be power attack, so I swing with a penalty, but I swing with more damage. The more damage you do, certainly in the earlier levels, the faster my guys die. You can see the appeal. I don't like the penalty, you may say. Well, if I'm already a fighter, a barbarian, or anyone else that gets a base attack bonus at level 1, I can also, for my second human feat, pick a weapon focus. That's a +1 to my swing with said weapon. Crossbow, bow, long sword, dagger, whatever you have skill in, and of course fine, because you have to equip it. Now I have a bonus to my swing, as well as a penalty to my swing. They counter each other out. And I have a bonus to my damage, so a net positive. You understand? And that's, again, level 1, human, covered. Okay, maybe you say, well, I want to be a dex-based character, and I still want a melee. Again, for a human, 2 feats right off the bat. Weapon finesse is a must, because you're swinging like a pansy with a low strength compared to a high dex. Use the dex for your advantage. Weapon finesse will do that. Obviously, you need a weapon finessable weapon. I assume you'll find one, a dagger, a club, or whatever. And weapon finesse it, and have a higher dex than strength modifier. That alone has made some of my wizard builds not feel like a meleeer, but not feel like a complete and utter candy ass when I get trapped in a corner and I don't want to cast a spell because you're going to poke me in the face for doing so. Where I can just switch to my dagger and try to stab you. That may not work, but at the very least, I'm not going to be beat around for trying to cast a spell. Okay? But that's just one. What would be the other? Much like power attack, there's one for dexterity that's called Piranha Strike. And again, can be grabbed at level 1. So if you do weapon finesse, you already got your bonus to your swing back thanks to all your dexterity being reasonably high, I assume. And then you have now Piranha Strike, where again, as long as it's a weapon finessable weapon, you're doing a penalty to your swing, but a bonus to your damage. It's not quite as good as the strength build, I'll grant you. But the difference being is my dex build will have extra armor. dodge. It will have extra reflexes. The strength build just has, I carry more, I hit harder, it's easier for me to do all my jobs. I don't need weapon finesse because I have strength. Again, cool for you, but again, not as tough as the dex build. So again, I just given you like 3 examples of something that would make going human be a solid reason to go human. Certainly you will expand on this. You will make feat picks based on your needs. Armor, shield bonuses, dodge bonus, as a dodge is an actual feat that I will show you here in another video or two. Again, is it amazing? No. Is it needed? Again, no. But a +1 to your armor? Man, it's a +1 to your armor. The whole goal is to not be hit and to hit them back, and of course to hit them hard. That's usually how this game works. Okay? So just to kind of understand where I'm coming from for how I build characters. And that applies for our teamwork feats. It's a reason why I routinely do not grab these things. It's not that they're bad. You're going to see I like a lot of them, but only if I'm getting them free, like on an Inquisitor build or a fighter where I get that fighter tactics, where it doesn't have to be on all my team, and I still benefit from it. Do I usually try to grab these things? There's a couple in here that could make every build, and could make every build better. But you would still need to have a mirror image of it on someone else, at least on the team. Unless, again, you're the Inquisitor with your solo tactics, or a fighter with your fighter tactics. Okay? So now let's get into it. What does the first one offer us? Here's Ally Spellcaster. Notice that first, all of these are going to require you have an intelligence, in I think every case, of at least a 3. And you may say, who gives a shit about that? Why does that even matter? Every person that you make in this game has a minimum intelligence of 3. Yes. But does your animal companion? Yeah, see? So there is a reason. Dogs and bears and other animal companions that you may pick up will not have enough of intelligence to use these properly. That's not to say you can't give them intelligence. As they level up, you can put points wherever you want. I routinely make my bear an intelligence of 4, so that it's not as stupid as it could be, but enough to give me some skill points back, and gives me access to these things. So you can see the appeal. I'm going to be next to my animal companion probably a lot. And better than that, the Inquisitor that gets an animal companion, the Sacred Huntsman, not only do they get solo tactics, not only do they get free teamwork feats like most of the Inquisitors do, they can gift these teamwork feats to said pet for free. That's why that build was so fucking cool. But let's get back to it. Allied Spellcaster with a minimum intelligence, which again we assume you have, you're going to be able to increase your concentration checks by +2, and here's the real seller, a +2 to your ability to overcome spell resistance. That's the equivalent of Spell Pen. That's a feat all by itself. That's only a +2 to overcoming Spell Pen. Now the difference being, if I have Spell Pen, it's not to say I don't need this. This is better, but only if I have an ally nearby. And I have either solo tactics, fighter tactics, or again an ally that has the same feat. Whereas Spell Pen just always works. But this gives more than just Spell Pen. That's why, again, teamwork feats are routinely OP. So that +2 to concentration check, remember, you get bitch slapped around and you're a caster, because let's face it, you probably are going to be. Well, what happens? I try to cast a spell. Oh wait, I took damage this round already. Shit, I wonder if I'll pass my concentration check. Boy, I wish I had a bonus to my concentration check, said no one ever. No, bullshit. Everybody wants to make sure they pass their spell check. And that's what we're talking about here. So again, do you want to fail at your spell and burn up a spell slot for doing nothing? I don't. You can see the appeal of this one. Again, good, great even, if you can work it into the build, and if you have the ability to make sure it works. Again, teammates near you, etc. and so forth. Now, back to back. An amazing one. Bonus to your armor, bonus to your buddy's armor, assuming he has the same feat, and all you have to do is be standing side by side each other. You're flanking an opponent, you will get a +2 to your armor class. Circumstantial bonus, notice those things, that's important too, because remember, circumstantial bonuses don't stack with other circumstantial bonuses, etc. and so forth. But boilerplate, 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 whatever, point's still the same, +2 to armor. And notice how it doesn't say just armor or dodge or anything like that. That, to me, implies that it's all 3 categories. Why is that important? Well, remember, a feat pick is precious. If I'm grabbing it down here, it's less precious, I suppose, because I have to pick a teamwork feat. But let's say I was playing the wizard, and I'm grabbing them up here with my precious 10 feats, because I decided not to be a human because I'm a doofus. So, Each time I burn something like that, I have to be real careful to make sure I'm getting the benefit of it. Remember, if I'm getting this bonus, why wouldn't I want a +2 to my armor class? That sounds awesome. But again, teammate has to be near me, etc. and so forth. Why not take dodge, which is always on? That's only a +1 versus this +2. And dodge only works for your armor class and for your touch armor class, not when you're flat-footed. I believe this one works for all three. So not only is it better because it's +2 versus +1, it's also better because it works for all three categories. This one is one of those that I would routinely take if I can fit it into at least 2 to 3 people on the party, especially if I have an Inquisitor. This one almost always will make the cut. It's an amazing upgrade to your armor. This is why Jaethal in Kingmaker was a fucking tank, and so many other things coming as well. It's because of stuff like this. Moving on. Coordinated defense and coordinated maneuvers. One's protection, the other one is you're attacking. Same general principle. Teammates near you, they have them, you have them, you get a buff to your swing, you get a buff to your protection. It's not armor per se, but it protects against the effects of combat maneuvers. Combat maneuvers in this game, which we've yet to really talk about, include things like tripping an opponent, bull rushing an opponent, sundering their armor, disarming an opponent. Those are things we can do. I routinely don't do them. That's not to say they're bad. I find them fiddly. It's hard to set it up. I don't really see the benefit when I could just hit you and kill you. You know what I mean? But yeah, I could take away your armor, soften you up for my team. Sure, that's the whole point of a teamwork feat. You are working in tandem with your team to help take down one or more opponents. So you can see the appeal. But again, you have to almost commit to it. What do I mean? Combat maneuver defense and combat maneuver B bonus, which is CMB. So when I say CMB and CMD, that's the difference between the two. Your attack versus your actual defense. But if we look at this one, notice the stats that upgrade it. Okay, so base 10, that's always there for everybody. Your base attack bonus. What if you're a wizard? Your base attack bonus is shit. Your strength, probably not very good. Your dex might be okay. Special size modifier, so if you're a teeny tiny person, it might be easier to defend against bigger targets. So again, you can see the appeal here, and other miscellaneous modifiers like this feat kick in and help out. Now, having said all that, on a weak character, weak base attack bonus, weak in strength, maybe even not the best dexterity, combat maneuver defense is going to be shit. Getting a +2 bonus to it isn't really going to make or break your build. So you can see why I ignore it. That's not to say it's not valuable or that it would help you once, twice, maybe a dozen times in the game. But if it's something that I could have just as easily grabbed dodge, so I'm less likely to just be hit, I'll rather take that. But notice it does other things. Not only does it give you a +2, again, if an ally is nearby, blah, 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 but read the last sentence. This bonus increases to +4 if you and your buddy that's giving you the buff are smaller than the guy that's trying to do the combat maneuver against you. So if you are halfling and gnome buddies tra-la-la through the forest and you both have coordinated defense and you fight anything that's humanoid size, which is human medium category or bigger, you got a +4 bonus sunshine instead of a +2. Now you can see some of the appeal. You could make a really good merc team, by the way, using shit like this to your advantage. Again, not my cup of tea, but I can see why people would like it. Coordinated maneuvers that help with combat maneuver checks, your ability to trip, to disarm, and all that other cool shit. Weirdly, not only gives you a +2 with your ally who also has it nearby you, but also keep reading, again, oddly, it will help protect you from grapple effects, insofar as it will give you a +4 bonus in your attempts to break free of grapples, which do exist in this game. They existed in Kingmaker. An example of a monster that grapples you is a shambling mound. Those little fuckers with the great the vine tentacles and shit like that, and their big moss bodies. Part of their attack is a grapple effect. If they grapple you, you don't really see an animation, I don't think, for it. But what happens is your character is grappled, you are impeded, and they will continue to damage you. You try to break free. Well, guess what? How do you break free? Combat maneuver defense. But this would give you a +4 to that check. But that defense, again, is shit for you wizard types, your sorcerer types. Again, unless you have some strength and dex and some other buffs besides, your base attack bonus is garbage. it's going to be hard to break free. So again, that's when people turn their attention to the Shambling Mound, kill the Shambling Mound, freeing you from the clutches of the Shambling Mound. You get the idea. There's always a way around things. The problem, though, is, again, do you want the buff? Again, I can't say no, because I don't know what your playstyle is. If you're going to do those combat maneuvers, the trip, the bull rush, and of course the bigger versions, which means greater bull rush, greater trip exists, tandem trip we'll see down here is a thing. And again, if you're going to do that, this is a solid pick, but it's not amazing. So again, it's one of those that fall along the way for me. Outflank, on the other hand, while you can't get it at level 1, 2, or 3, the earliest you could possibly pick up Outflank is a level 4 character. And that's not even guaranteed. Why? Because you need a base attack bonus of 4, Sunshine. How does that work? Well, if I'm a fighter, barbarian, or blood rager, or anything else that's a martial class in my mind, they get a base attack bonus at every level. So how do you get to a battle floor? You get to level 4. Solves the problem, right? Well, but here's the thing. For a wizard, a purist wizard or sorcerer, their base attack bonus is the worst progression in the game, which means at every even level, they get a base attack bonus. So here's plus 0, here's plus 1, still plus 1, now it's plus 2. How do I get to plus 4? It's way the fuck down here at level 8 and on up. Again, is this an amazing upgrade? Sure. Is it something that would make every build better? Again, possibly. But are you really going to wait till level 8 on up for a wizard or sorcerer to pick up something that's just a minor plus 2 to your swing? And you may say plus 2 is not minor, and I would agree. But by now, you're getting into your level 4 and 5 spells, Sunshine. Really, you tell me you ain't got a spell that can make you swing better than this and give you more buffs than that? Hell, Cat's Grace or Bull's Strength is in there somewhere, right? And that's certainly been available for way longer than level 8 for that wizard or that sorcerer. And again, sure, that's nice. Maybe you run out of spells, you'd like to have the buff. Again, I can't tell you don't pick it. I routinely pick this on teams that are going to go Teamwork Feats. Again, Inquisitors being an example. It's that good. It's the reason that Jaethal eventually, again, you see it takes a while to freaking come online, but she gets really tough, really good at swinging, really good at doing damage, and other buffs besides that you see. By the end of her build, just for being next to an ally, more on that later, she becomes a goddamn unstoppable juggernaut in a lot of ways. It's why the Inquisitors are so OP. So again, Outflank is great, even. Does it make every build? I wouldn't put it on the ones that have to get it way the hell back here. That's just way too long to wait for me, and by then you probably have better things coming your way. Again, if you have nothing else to pick, feel free to take it. But make sure you have another teammate that has it as well. Going on, Precise Strike. This is one that you could, as a fighter, barbarian, another martial class, pick this motherfucker up if you have a high enough dexterity and intelligence, dexterity being 13 minimum. You could pick this up at level 1. And this one's not bad. This is one that I actually routinely like as well, but only if I can get it early. Let me explain why. What does it do? It gives you the equivalent, it's not the same, but the equivalent of 1 die of sneak attack damage. It's not sneak attack though, be real clear on this. It sets up like sneak attack, it behaves like sneak attack, it's extra bonus damage like sneak attack, but it's not called sneak attack, it's called precision damage. You literally melee a target, teammates got this as well, you attack that target that you're both flanking, so let's say this is your target, this is me, and this is you. We both have Precise Strike at level 1, let's say. I swing at him, I hit him, I'll do an extra 1d6 of damage. That don't sound amazing, but at level 1, that's a fucking extra hit, technically speaking. Most weapons do 1d4, 1d6, 1d8, so it's damn near like a free hit. Okay, again, sneak attack applicable, so you have to set it up in the same way. Flanking, being next to a buddy that has it, of course, as well, is all important here. Why do I say I only grab it if I'm going to grab it early? Because 1d6 of extra damage, while impressive at levels 1, 2, 3, hell, even all the way up to maybe 5, 6, or even 7, is not that bad. At level 17 or 19, are you ever going to fucking notice that extra 1d6 of damage? I mean, really? Probably no, right? This is the same argument we give you when I talk about accomplished sneak attack, or something that's not on the list here, it's going to be in another video, but it's the one where you get another sneak attack die. You have to have one first, and again, this does not count as that die. So if you want to accomplish sneak attacker, you need more than just Precise Strike to get that shit, so don't grab this thinking that's going to solve your problems. But what does accomplished sneak attacker do? Very similar to Precise Strike. If you can do sneak attack, you'll do 1 more d6 of sneak attack damage. 1 more die. Excuse me. And that's it. Again, early levels, that's not bad. Going from a rogue build where you get one sneak attack die, and then you get another sneak attack die, and then you get another sneak attack die, going from 1 to 2, or 2 to 3, or even 3 to 4, you will feel it. The damage is there when it lands, of course. The damage is there. At the end of the build, when you already have like 10 d6 of sneak attack damage, jumping it up to 11 d6 is clearly more. Are you really going to notice it? The average amount of damage you're adding for that is going to be minuscule by the end of the build. Grab it earlier is my advice, much like Precise Strike. By the end of the build, or middle to the end of the build, you probably ain't going to notice it. So again, good, not great. Notice, seize the moment. This one gets trippy. Oh, it should have pointed one more thing out in, excuse me, my phone. One more thing in Outflank, okay? Not only do you get a bonus to your swing, notice how it says +4, it's +2 naturally for flanking. That's something in this game already. If you're flanking with the buddy, you don't even need a feat. You just have an ally next to you, you're both attacking the same doofus, like I'm attacking this guy, you're attacking this guy, we're flanking him officially. More on how we do that here in a second, but basically we both get a +2 to our swing on that fucker, because we're distracting him for the other teammate. That's baked into the game. Outflank, on the other hand, if we both have it, and again attacking the same guy, we'll get another +2. So that's why it's +4. But keep reading. Notice this last sentence. In addition, whenever you, the attacker, scores a critical hit on that son of a bitch, my other buddy, who's also giving me my outflank bonus, he's within melee range, he has a melee weapon, he will get an attack of opportunity on that son of a bitch. That's a good action economy. I swing, I happen to crit, he swings. Whether he crits or not, he still has a chance to hit that bastard, and that's just free damage. Or at least free chance at damage, I should say. So you can see the appeal of Outflank right off of that last sentence, let alone the +2 to your swings. Now, I point that out because here's another one that does something extremely similar to Outflank, and again, I can't really explain how it differs other than just to read it to you. Notice this one does have another requirement though. See the combat reflexes up there? Yes, I have a mod that's allowing me to pick it even though I don't have the combat reflexes, but that's cheating. You will get it the proper way. Combat reflexes, for those of you that don't know, requires you to actually doesn't require a damn thing. It only really benefits you, though I should say, if you have a dexterity of 12 or better. So if you have a dex of 10 or lower, don't fucking really waste your time. I mean, yeah, I suppose it gives you the ability to grab seize the moment, but getting a feat that will help you get another feat, and that's the only thing it's giving you, is kind of dumb. But if you have that dex of 12, and that's easy enough to come by in this game at level 1, no offense, combat reflexes will give you an extra attack of opportunity equal to your dexterity modifier. That's why you need it to be 12, a +1, right? So a +1 or better, I get more attacks of opportunity. Otherwise, you're always limited to just one a combat round. And to be honest, I rarely find that I get attacks of opportunity all the fucking time. So again, it's one of those things where I don't usually take combat reflexes because I only really need the one. If I miss out on another one, well, whoopsie doodles, that's on me. But some people build for combat reflexes, and there's powerful builds that can capitalize on having combat reflexes and high dex build and being a melee attacker. For example, what if I set up a party where I'm scaring the bejesus out of bad guys in melee range? When they flee my range of attack, my area of attack with my melee weapon, that's an attack of opportunity. They're running past me to get to you. That's an attack of opportunity. They're fleeing me because I'm scaring them. That's an attack of opportunity. So you can see how I could set up more than one in a combat round. So again, that's where combat reflexes would come in and be of value. But keep reading. For seize the moment, what it's going to do for you is, again, when an ally who also has the feat and standing next to you, like he has it and I have it, and we're again fucking with this guy, he, the other ally, gets a crit on someone that I'm also threatening, like this doofus here, and I will again get an attack of opportunity on said doofus. So it sounds a lot like the same thing about flank, right? Without the +2 bonus to my swing, and that's how I see it. Now the question is will the two of them work in tandem? I can't tell. I have never tested it. So again, if you guys know more info on that, post down below. We will all learn together. But outflank is good, seize the moment is good. Both of them together would probably be of benefit. I could imagine that being okay. If you can only pick one though, I would go with outflank, just to be honest. But this is a solid upgrade. This is a solid upgrade. And notice, if you were human, not saying you should go this way, with 2 feats at level 1, combat reflexes could be picked at level 1, and so could seize the moment. Poof, just like that, I have attack of opportunity potential that I didn't have before. Again, assuming a teammate has it as well. So again, good, sure, great, I'd rather have Outflank. Shake it off. This one's interesting. This is one that scales the number of allies you have around you that also have it. But remember, just to point out a caveat here, I have solo tactics as an Inquisitor, or as a fighter with fighter tactics that has the same general principle here. All I have to do is be next to an ally. They don't even have to have this. I just gift it to them temporarily. They don't get the buff, but I do. So if I'm surrounded by teammates up front, like this, say this is the three of us side by side, fucking this guy over here, right? This is me, this is the two buddies of mine, and I have solo tactics, as you see, and shake it off. He does something where I need to do a saving throw. I have a +2 to it. Why? Because it's a +1 per buddy of mine that's near me that's giving me this bonus. More on that. Let's talk now about why I keep talking about allies and not just teammates. Because it's a teamwork feat, right? It's a teammate they're referring to, yeah? Not really. At least in Kingmaker, allies include your team of 6, right? So you and all the other 5 people. Animal companions are allies. Summons are allies. As long as they're on your side and whooping up on that doofus over here. And there is an Inquisitor build called the Monster Tactician that has solo tactics and can summon fucking monsters. Imagine summoning a bunch of dogs next to you, where again, because of your solo tactics and your shake it off ability here, you could get a upwards of +4 to all your saving throws just because you summon some pets right next to you. See how cool that shit is? And again, that would work with Outflank, that would work back to back, because again, solo tactics, ally near you, that's your summons. That's why the Inquisitor builds were OP in Kingmaker. I imagine they'll be the same in this game. Okay, there's just so much they get to do. They can self-heal, self-buff, attack. Got buffs besides with their judgments. Not all of them have judgments, but many of the Inquisitors do. And that goes from 1 buff to 2 buffs to 3 buffs by the end of the build, where they can have 3 different toggles on that buffs things like attack bonus, armor, damage, spell pen, saving throws, just a metric shit, like regeneration, no less. Just a metric shit ton of stuff up here. And then you throw in all these free teamwork feats. You can see how Jaethal back in Kingmaker eventually turns into a fucking monster. So again, extremely powerful and interesting in that allies means a lot of different things. And this is one of the only ones, there's maybe one other here, but this is one of the only ones that I can think of off the top of my brain where you get a buff based on having more than one ally with it. Everything else is having at least one, you get this. So again, yay, but having 2, 3, or in the best case scenario for this one, 4 teammates, it's a +4 to fortitude, your will save, your reflex save. That's powerful. Amazing one, should be picked if at all possible. And notice, there is no requirement other than having an intelligence of 3. You can grab that shit at level 1 if you so choose. Shield Wall. This one's interesting. This falls in that category. It's like back to back, where again you're getting a bonus to your AC. Notice this requires you to wield a shield. You have to have a proficiency in either light shield, heavy shield, or a buckler. Obviously tower shield works as well, but to get tower shield you'd have to have one of those 3 as well. So tower shield specialist, for example, will have access to this too. Notice what happens with the teammate that has this standing next to you, right? You're adjacent to an ally wielding a shield, any kind of shield, buckler on up to tower shield. You will get a bonus to your armor class, and that's dependent on the type of shield they have. If it's only a buckler or a light shield, you're only going to get a +1 to your armor. But hey, it was free. You will take it. If they have the better version, the heavy shield, or God forbid, the tower shield monster, you will get a +2 to your armor, and vice versa, because presumably, as it is a teamwork feat, you both are wielding shields, and you both are in battle side by side. So you're helping him, and he's helping you. Think of the fucking Spartans or the Centurions or whoever the fuck over, the ones that have the spears, the long spears, and the fucking turtle formation where they all have the big fucking tower shields they all put in front of them and just kind of poke like a big moving circle of spikiness. That's basically what Shield Wall's kind of like. You're protecting everybody. I'm protecting you, you're protecting me, and we're all happy together. So Shield Wall is the staple. This was one that I missed out on in Kingmaker for the longest time. I had it. I picked it for Jaethal without reading it and not understanding it. Again, another example of how people will bitch about, it's not working, it's supposed to be here, where's my buff? Do you have a shield equipped? Jaethal wields a scythe. That's a two-handed weapon. She don't get no buckler. She has the ability to use it. She didn't use one. For the longest time, I missed out on this without realizing what it could have offered me and the team. How did I find out? Pure dumb luck, quite frankly. I found a very cool weapon that I'm like, this kind of feels like an undead weapon for Jaethel. She's an undead Inquisitor bitch, elf, whatever. She was awesome. And again, Scythe was her weapon of choice because that was her deity's weapon of choice. And I couldn't find a good Scythe for her, but I found a really nice short spear, one-handed weapon that was made of bone. I think it was literally called Bone Spear. And it was an amazing necromantic type tool that was awesome for her, and it thematically made sense. I gave it to her, and I'm like, oh, that's a one-hander. Oh, that's right, Inquisitors can also have shields. Here, get a buckler or a light shield. And I gave her one, and I'd already had shield wall, and I had someone else on the team, I think probably Valerie, because she was a shield, tower shield specialist. I gave it to her. Suddenly, everyone's armor got better. At least the two of them in the front ranks did, and Jaethel became an unstoppable juggernaut. Back-to-back was there. I had a better swing thanks to Outflank. I had shield wall. Hell, I had shake it off for a nice bonus to my saving throws. She became a fucking force to be reckoned with because of just a few of these things. And again, they were free, baby. And I was just missing out on it because I wasn't understanding how it worked. Shielded caster. First, to go back here, just to remind you again, in case I didn't say it before, again, the +1 is if you have a buckler or light shield, or the teammate does, excuse me, or if your ally is wielding a heavy shield or tower shield, you get a +2. So again, you're better off with the bigger ones, but again, a bonus is a bonus is a bonus. And remember, this falls under your shield bonuses. Why is that important? Because shield bonuses will work for your armor class and for your flat-footed armor class. It will not work for your touch armor class, in most cases. So again, this will not cover everything like back-to-back will, but it will do well, and you will appreciate it. Shielded caster. This one kind of falls in that allied spellcaster and shielded caster. Feel like ones that are for casters. I mean, it says it in the goddamn name. But I think a common mistake for people when they play these games and they don't read, and I'm notoriously bad for this too, they see caster or spellcaster, and the first thing that your brain gravitates towards is, oh, arcane caster, wizard, sorcerer, things of that nature, right? No, there's all kinds of casters. Clerics will benefit from this, druids too. All kinds of fuckers out there that have spell casting, and again, as we've already stated, your main character, whether you want to or not, you're going to get a spell book, son. So, you might as well be a good spellcaster. Here's an example of ways to be good spellcasters, or protected spellcasters. Shielded caster. First, notice that it looks like this one requires your teammate, your ally, to wield a shield. It does not. The bonuses are better if they have a shield. Know that. The +1 and the +2, you're seeing it there. Notice you get a +4, period, just for an ally having this. So again, as my solo Inquisitor who casts spells, Jaethel, just standing next to one of her summons or one of her team, one of her allies, and having shielded caster, she has a +4 to her concentration checks. Poof. Free. Just right there. And if they have, God forbid, a buckler or light shield, it's now +5. Or if a heavy shield or a tower shield, now it's +6. You can see she's not being interrupted on her spells very often. And again, is it necessary? I can't tell you it's not. I can tell you I don't routinely care. But when I fail on a spell check, and I'm like, game's broken, bug report. No, it's not, you dumbass. You were smacked in the same combat round. You weren't paying attention, brother mutant. And yes, you goobered it up. So it's because of stuff like concentration checks. Thanks to allied spellcaster up here, it's a +2. Notice how this one here is a +4. This one is a bonus. It doesn't say competence bonus, so I would assume it would stack with this one. Otherwise, it's kind of silly. And this one is a competence bonus. So if you have a competence bonus to your concentration checks, this is useless. Or, I shouldn't say useless. Whichever is the bigger number is the one that wins out, right? But the point's still the same. This and this together, you should be having a pretty decent concentration check to the point where you're less likely to be interrupted. That's not to say it won't happen. You can roll a nat 1 on that shit, or just take so much damage that there's really no good way for you to overcome the concentration check. Notice those concentration checks are specifically tailored to the more damage you receive. I'm going to read the last paragraph here. The more damage you receive and the higher the level of the spell you are trying to cast, the higher the DC check's going to be. If you fail the check, we lose the spell and nothing happens. You've wasted your turn. That's why concentration is nice, but it's still not necessary if you're planning around it. If you're paying attention to the fact that you've already taken damage, don't waste your time casting a spell. Bust out the set crossbow and shoot them, or use a spell you don't care about, like infinite use cantrips, just to be a dick. So fuck it, I'll just blast you with Jolt, Ray of Frost, whatever. Oh, I failed. Oh well. Yeah, it sucks, but it's not the end of the world, and you didn't waste a spell slot, right? So again, planning, right? Can't stress enough that planning can outcome all kinds of problems that you play this game and have problems with. Last one to talk about, Tandem Trip. Notice how Tandem Trip first has a prerequisite of a trip feat. Now that's something you'd have to get. Trip, trying to remember, don't show it to me, damn it. Trying to remember what you need to get trip. I think you need to have like an intelligence, you might need like a combat expertise or something of that nature, high intelligence. Point is, get everything that you need to get trip, and then get this guy. What does this one do for you? When you and an ally next to you have this feat, which assumes that you both have trip then as a result, when you try to trip someone, you get advantage. You roll twice, take the best of the two results. Having said that, the way this is commonly bug reported, and again, I'm notoriously bad for this too, so I'm here to steer you away from this so we're not wasting the dev's time. An example, if you make the check, the first roll, they won't roll a second one. Why? Because you pass. You can't pass better. There's no crit success on this shit as far as I know. So you pass it, you're done. They won't roll again. You will not see that in the combat log. So don't report it. Say, it didn't work. It didn't give me my second roll. Did you pass it? Yeah. Well, then you didn't need the second roll. So the devs know that. They took away the ability to roll the second time. The computer that does it for you automatically, it won't do it if you pass. If you fail, they'll roll it. Thanks to having Tandem Trip. So you will see two rolls. The first one will be the failure. The second one could also be the failure. You will also, and this is another thing that people bug report, and please don't do this. You will see, let's say, just to give a number, let's say you needed a 20, you roll a 15. Nope. It rolls again. So you see in the combat log the 15, comma, and let's say the next roll is a 2. You'll see 15, comma, 2. The 2 will be bold and underlined. That's the second one. That's the one it picks. And again, you're like, why pick the 2? 15 is better than 2. Both fail. It don't matter. It only picks the second one because it makes it pick the second one. It already knows the first one fails, and there is no crit failure on this shit. So don't feel bad about the fact that it picked the lower number. It don't matter. You failed both times is the take-home message here. That is not a bug report. That is fine. It sucks, but it's what it is. You will also see this, just to deviate a little bit here, another example of this is when you grab feats like Blind Fight, which I have on this character. But if you had Blind Fight, the way it works is you have concealment for a target. 20% chance to miss or 50% chance to miss. Those are your two choices. If it's either of them, you roll to hit. First, you have to pass the 20% or 50% check. If you fail it, poof, you miss. Doesn't matter how good your swing was or how bad their armor was. You miss 20% or 50% of the time, again, depending on which buff they have. If you have Blind Fight, it gives you advantage. You roll twice. Again, only if you need to. So if you pass it on the first roll, it won't be in the combat log where you see anything other than 1. And people, Blind Fight's broken, bug report. No, it's not. You passed the check. There was no need to roll it again. And again, just like on Tandem Trip, if you fail it, let's say you have someone with displacement, total concealment, 50% chance to miss. Let's say on the first roll you roll 49. You have Blind Fight, you'll get advantage. You'll roll again by default. Just automatically happens. So you'll see 49 in the combat log, comma, and whatever the next roll is. The next roll, no matter whether you pass or fail it, it'll be bold and underlined. So again, like our Tandem Trip, if you roll a 49 and then roll a 2, you will see 2 is bold and underlined. It don't matter. You failed both times. Do not bug report that. That's a waste of everyone's time. It's working as intended. It just sucks for you because you failed on the second roll. It is not a crit failure. It doesn't impact you more if it's the worst. The second roll is the worst. The only reason there will be a second roll is if you already failed on the first one. Okay? And again, I know I'm getting on a high horse here just because I hate when I do this mistake too. I'm trying to save you the embarrassment of doing it as well. So again, that covers everything here. Certainly this video's been long enough, but I wanted to emphasize the importance of things like making sure you're next to an ally. And again, I can't tell you how close that has to be, but again, usually if you're shoulder to shoulder, like you're in the front rank making a wall against a bad guy or multiple bad guys, that's probably good enough. On that note, remember we talked about an example one here is with outflanking. A common mistake I find is flanking. When we're threatening the same opponent, people assume, in like D&D and Pathfinder, probably in pen and paper versions of games like these or these games themselves, people assume that flanking is not me and you side by side fucking with this guy. That doesn't strike me as flanking. And again, for the longest time I battled with flanking is real easy in this game. For example, I'm used to flanking being I'm like on the side. So like if I'm here north and south, east and west, I'm north and you're either south, east, or west. Not northeast or northwest, right? Not that close to me. Because then it's easy to defend against two guys that are like both side by side, right? But if you're over here and I'm over here and this guy's defending against two-pronged attacks, that's flanking. Especially if you're behind. That's super easy flanking. You can understand how it'd be hard for me to protect from this doofus behind me and you in front of me. So again, I'm all over the place defending myself. That's flanking. In this game, flanking is literally we both are attacking the same guy in melee. That's it. That's all it takes to be a flanker. So again, when you see stuff like that, don't assume that, I have to work my way around. And the reason I say that is because I don't know this, and I make sure I stress this point. If I'm here, this is the bad guy, and you're on the south side of him, on the exact opposite side of the motherfucker, you might not be close enough to me to be qualifying for the Teamwork Feats. You see that? Because again, it says when you're next to your ally, close to your ally, flanking your ally, blah, blah, blah. Basically, next to, like shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip, damn near what they're talking about. So if I'm here, here's the bad guy, and you're there, you may not see the bonus. Again, some common sense when you're testing it and doing your combat logs. It's not working, it's broken, bug report. No. Try it where you're side by side or a little bit closer. Are you north and west and north and east? Maybe that might be good enough. Again, I can't tell you what the radius is for that, is my point. I could test it. I don't care enough to do so. But again, if I see that, I have that same knee-jerk reaction of bug report. But again, take some time. Think about what just happened. Read the tooltip. You'd be surprised how often I've made mistakes where it says it in the tooltip and it's right fucking there, and I'm just like, this is broken. This game sucks. Throw the table. Rah! Rage! And whatever. No. I read the tooltip. A fine example is not as a teamwork feat, but another example of a feat that I thought was broken, was working perfectly fine, is a feat called mini shot. We'll cover it in a future video, but mini shot requires you are using a bow. Whether it's a long bow, short bow, composite versions of them, doesn't matter. It has to be a bow. It says in the tooltip, when you shoot an arrow with a bow, and I wasn't getting mini shot because I was using a crossbow. I'm like, this game's broken. This is back in Kingmaker, of course. Yeah, but I read the tooltip, and of course I got on the forums and vented my frustration, and everyone's like, dude, you need to have a bow. It doesn't say that. Like, read the tooltip again. It really does. Son of a bitch. I feel like a complete idiot. So I'm trying to save you from shit like that. So again, read your tooltips. Try to understand them. You'd be surprised how often I read a tooltip still and get shit wrong, and then come back later, reread it, go, this is bullshit, and then I read it, go, oh fuck, I've been doing it wrong all this time. Another fine example, the last thing to say here, just to show you another example how stupid I was. Back in Kingmaker, and again, you know my love for Magus. That's one of my favorite classes to play, and I'll definitely play one when this game comes out. But Magus, especially Elder Scions, they have an ability to buff their weapon, which I just love. And you can select certain buffs for your weapon, like you can set it on fire, you make it do some cold damage, you make it do electrical damage, just some random shit that they have, which is fucking cool. Well, one of the things you can pick, you don't have to, is this thing called Brilliant Energy. You basically make your weapon glow like a fucking monster, and it takes a massive surge of power to do it, which means you're not getting a very good buff to your weapon, I thought. It literally consumes +4 of your bonus that you could have conferred to your weapon. Remember, your weapon can get up to a +5. So if I have a +1 dagger, and I can buff it with another +4, that's a +5 dagger. That's awesome. That's +5 to swing, that's +5 to damage. Well, if I take that same dagger +1 and use Brilliant Energy buff on it, it's still a dagger +1. Because I use 4 points. Like the 4 enhancements that I could have added to it, they get chewed up by making it a Brilliant Energy weapon. So that better be a good buff. Turns out it really is. And I was not catching it. So let's explain 2 things about that, about why it's important and why it's awesome. And again, why I read the tooltip wrong. 1, it chews up 4 points. Those points would have been wasted. Let's say I had a dagger +5. You can't make it +9. So +5 is the cap. All those 4 points I was going to add anyway would be poof, gone in the wind. So you might as well buff it. So bringing energy should have been applied on those weapons. Probably, like I'd say, apply a +4 or better weapon. Brilliant energy that motherfucker up. But then 2, what does brilliant energy do? It turns your weapon, in this case our dagger, into a melee touch attack. You heard that right. We are cutting through your armor, your shield bonus, your natural armor bonus, and a bunch of shit. So if you look at your 3 armor categories, just to backpedal out of here, let's just show this to you. So if you look at these 3 armor classes here, routinely this is the best one, and these 2 are probably either just as good as or probably worse than it. There's exceptions where this one is just as good as this one, like a knight, someone wearing full plate mail, no dexterity, no dodge, no nothing. Your armor will be just as good as your flat-footed armor. Awesome. But a touch armor class requires you to have dodge, dexterity, all kinds of other cool shit. So again, for those knights, their touch armor is probably shit. And if you're meleeing, chances are, who are you fighting? Probably dudes that have high fucking armor, where flat-footed doesn't bother them and armor is amazing, but their touch armor is easy, because all I have to do is touch you on the shoulder and that counts, right? Well, if my weapon is now a touch attack weapon, by buffing it with brilliant energy, you can see how much nicer it is to fight those knights and those paladins and those fighters that have bow coup, plate mail, and a big ass fucking shield and don't mean shit to my weapon attack. I'm cutting through it like it's butter. And for the longest time I was bitching about, because everyone on the forums was like, brilliant energy is amazing, brilliant energy is amazing. It's like one of the best buffs out there. Bane weapon buff, which is something else they can do, is another staple and another favorite, and it was my favorite, still is, for Magus. But brilliant energy, everyone was going on and on about it. I'm like, fuck that shit. I'm not losing a +4 to my swing and +4 to my damage. That's dumb. Well, I forgot about the fact they don't stack. That was my mistake. Okay? So again, read your tooltips. You'd be surprised when you come back and reread it. It'll strike your brain in another way and you're like, oh shit, that's what they meant. Oh, okay. Yeah, now that works with the thing and the stuff and the, yeah, I get it now. So that's my last piece of advice to you guys here. Now this video's gone on long enough, so we'll finish here, but know that more videos are coming, and again, for the person that's asking for timestamps, and I'm sure all you people will appreciate it because these videos are going to get long, I will do them, but not until after all the videos are done. So if you want to hold off a little bit until all of these are finished, I will say 3rd and final or 4th and final or whatever I do video in the title, so you know that they are finished, and then you can come back hopefully and look for those timestamps. But with that, my name is Brother Mutant. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Is there something that I missed? Is there something about Teamwork Feats that you guys are capitalizing on that I just didn't talk about? Again, the only one that really sticks out to me as being really interesting is Tandem Trip, potentially, and coordinate maneuvers to enhance your ability to bull rush, trip, to disarm, to sunder armor, and all that fun jazz. I do know, and it does work, and that's why I posted the video already for my Sacred Huntsman build, where I have my wolf, or I had a bear, but you can get a wolf or a dog as one of your animal companions, and they get trip, not tandem trip, they get trip for free, and because you're a Sacred Huntsman, you can give them tandem trip for free. And again, since every time they attack, they try to trip, why not give them an advantage? So I know that there is that trick out there. But with that, again, my name is Brother Mutant. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see you guys soon. Bye now.